Welcome back, everyone, to Halloween Haunts 365. I'm still in the wheelchair. I'm Jared.
Hi, I'm Terry.
We have a very fun interview for you today. Let's welcome Connor from Brighton Asylum. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing all right.
Awesome. Very good. So, I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Brighton Asylum.
My name's Connor. I'm the general manager of Brighton Asylum, and I do a little bit of everything. I mainly make sure the show runs smoothly, which is a big task. I handle the actors, make sure the right person is chosen for the right job, the right characters are in the right spot, make sure everything goes well before, during, and after the show into the next day, given it's a weekend. I manage the other departments as well. I oversee the managers of makeup and security and pretty much everything that needs to be done to open and run the haunt when Rich isn't doing what he's doing. So it's kind of a juggling act. So that's it in a nutshell.
I gotcha. It's a lot of hats to wear.
It
Oh
is a
yeah.
lot.
When did the Halloween bug start for you? What started all this madness?
When did I start haunting or when did I start going, oh, I like Halloween?
When you started liking Halloween?
Oh, I think I was about 3 years old when I figured out what it was. I think my first Halloween costume, I was a fireman, and I realized that between free candy and seeing the coolest monsters I've ever seen in my life run around my neighborhood, I'm like, this is definitely for me, and it just grew from there.
Yeah, me too. That and with the invasion of horror movies in the 80s. I was
Oh yeah.
hooked.
Yeah.
Well, also, the first I started watching horror movies as a young kid, so those two really connected well. And between going from watching horror movies and celebrating Halloween, just like every one of us, you just go, wow, it just hits you out of nowhere. I think I was like 3 or 4 years old, pretty young.
Oh wow. All right. How long have you been haunting?
20 years last season.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So I started doing it when I was 15. I believe back then you could get working papers. And then I was turning 16 the fiscal year, so I was at a separate haunt, and then I just kept doing it on and off. And then in 2014, I went back full time with Rich at Brighton. And then in 2018, I took the GM position. So yeah, 20 years last season. Yeah.
Nice.
Did you always haunt at Brighton, or have you been other places first?
Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, there was what ended up happening was when I first started, we were on a farm up at DePiros and DePiros Farm in Montvale. And it was back then, haunts were, it was Disney or you were just some kind of small thing. There were very few people that, really did a big deal. And over the last, I don't know, 15 years, you've seen it. They've grown into competing with Disney and Universal. So I mean, back then it was just something very simple, but that place had closed down, and because they bought out the property, the farm went under, and I had stopped, and then Rich had opened up Brighton, so I went over there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what does the GM job look like right now in the off season? Like, what are you
Well,
working on? What's in the head of yours right now?
right now we have the St. Patrick's Sleigh coming up
Yeah.
next weekend. So on the off season, it's a little bit more relaxed. It's a lot less pressure. Everyone still, has to do their job responsibilities, but it's not day after day after day. I really spend all week in between what I'm normally doing, communicating with all the actors, and making sure that they have everything ready to go, from costumes to makeup. A lot of them come up with their own designs, which I'm highly impressed by. And we collaborate. So I'm collaborating between, um, you know, uh, 20, 30, 40 people at a time. Usually people are set and they know what they're going to do. But when it comes up with new ideas, that's where I go back and forth. I really just do a lot of costume checking. I go down to the building. I make sure we're set up for what we need to do. We have all the supplies. Like every off season, whether it's Christmas or Valentine's Day, there's a whole new decoration process. There's a whole new setup of characters, and we try to do something different every time. And we have a lot of really great people who um, really enjoy doing something different all the time. So I have to approve everything that happens, whether it's costumes, makeup, and then I collaborate with, the makeup department. So right now it feels like you're doing a lot of work, but it doesn't feel the heaviness of it because it's day in and day out. I've been texting about 16 people today, just making sure everything's ready to go, and getting bombarded with all these video approvals, and they do like, oh, I got this, I got that. Do you want this? Do you want that? So it's just really making sure that looks good because
Yeah,
I never know if we're going to have a haunt reviewer come by or what the crowd's going to look like, but we want to make sure it's as good as possible. But it's a lot easier within the same duties that we have.
I gotcha. So, excuse me. All right, so this is your last off-season event this year, right?
Correct.
What does your job look like after this event and looking towards the season?
So obviously there's a bit of a lull. I mean, the closer you get to summertime, the less people are thinking about Halloween, so it becomes a little tricky. But what we usually do is there's a bit of a break, to be honest. Rich and I really focus on hiring, recruiting new people. If we are doing renovations, I'm not really a part of that process. But we debate what our trailer will look like. Usually every summer we shoot a trailer. I don't know if that's the case this time around, but it really goes from last off season to everyone takes a little bit of a break, and then really it's just who's going to be in the trailer and how do Rich and I want to go about doing that. And that's a very select process. I'm a little less involved in that now. But really, between doing that, we also construct the outside structures, the museum, the axe throwing, with the store. That's a lot of physical labor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 10 hours a day building all that stuff. So, I mean, we have a company who built us for it, but we have to put it back together, and it's by no means light. And of course, every time we do it, it's blazing hot out, So, so we really do construction and then the trailer, and then we start rehiring and doing training. So yeah, there's some gaps in there because of summer, but there's by all means stuff to do all year.
Yeah. And that's what
Oh,
a lot of people don't understand about these attractions is it's a full-time all year thing.
They have no clue.
No, they really
They
don't.
really don't. And it's a especially October. It's a tremendous amount of work. Rich is always on the go, doing this, doing that. So when he's not doing his business end of things, I'm just trying to make sure that, staff and I can help him in any way I can with him. He'll usually call me, say, I need you for this, need you for that. But yeah, I mean, in the summertime, there's construction to be done, and then there's training, and then it starts all over again. But I would say that after, yes, the off season, that is when you get a little bit more of a breather from the haunt business. But like I said, there's still stuff to do.
Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna say it's October 28th. You're about to open. Probably one
Jesus.
of the busier nights.
Yeah.
What does your night look like?
My just the night.
Oh, we can
The
start it today. I'm free
Yeah,
for all of it.
okay. Sure. I mean, really, a busy day is really I get up around my day starts at the second I wake up, and it stops the second I go to bed. So I'll wake up and I'll get, a couple hundred text messages. I'll be on the phone left and right with the actors, Rich telling me something good is happening, this and that. I have to redo the schedule, make sure everyone who's there is supposed to be there, get down to the building. There's probably about 6 or 7 people who want my attention at once, and then things get very, very busy. Rich is setting up outside. I'm making sure everyone gets there. Makeup's calling me. This person's calling me. My phone's ringing. I need to be like 6 people at once, so I have to really, really, really play chess as to what in my head is the most important thing at that time. You have to remember what actors are key that are hard to replace. Big key spots, things that can be switched around easy. And then that is really, really a very manic pace when I first start getting there. Those 2 to 3 hours before we start, I'm jogging. I lose so much weight in October. It's wonderful. But but then the show starts, and then I start on time, we get the lights off, customers are in, and then there's things happening behind the scenes constantly. There's not always bad, but you have to make sure that people are okay and that they're doing well. And I'm checking with security, checking with makeup, checking with everything. It's a constant spin. And then when the night slows down, I do a final walkthrough, make sure everyone's all right. Then we end the night. Then I answer more questions towards the end of the night. This is probably anywhere between 12:45 and 1:45 in the morning. And then I just tell people, hit me up when I get home. I'm driving home, and then I'm getting more text messages that said I'm going to bed. So I know there's no calm way to explain it, but that's kind of the tip of the eye. It's absolutely crazy, but that's what our busy night looks like. I mean, everybody that works for us, we say, this is a mandatory weekend.
Yeah.
It has to be that way. I mean, it's not just the busiest night of the year. It's the Halloween party night at the bar, at the club, at the friend's house. It's takeoff night for whatever reason. And we haven't really had a problem with that in a few years. So for me, it's just making sure that I'm making sure anything that could possibly go wrong is prevented, while also making sure that everything that could be done to the best of its possible doing is done. And it's all over the place. So it's very busy. So I'll be working anywhere, but I'll be up and focused on Brighton pretty much anywhere between 10 in the morning until like 1 in the morning.
Wow.
So
I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but you get the weirdest dressed customers I've ever seen.
yeah.
And it only happens there. I've been to hundreds of these things.
Really?
And Brighton, I always know there's going to be that group that just came from the club with like
Or
the
going
ladies
to the
wearing
club.
nothing, or people dressed in radioactive costumes, or we saw Batman one night. Like, it only happens at Brighton.
Are you that's odd. And I wonder if that's because New York City's right there, because we've had a group of friends for I think 3 years in a row all come as different Street Fighter characters every year. You have these guys who try to look scary online, and the things that entertain us most when we're outside. I just explain how stressful my day is, and then I see a couple dressed as peanut butter and jelly or whatnot. But we've seen some of the funniest costumes out there, and they're more comical than anything else. But as a manager and security, we obviously don't allow people to wear their masks when they come inside.
Yeah.
So that's never really been an issue because it's always something goofy.
Yeah, and it's only there, man. Like,
Yeah.
all season, I'm in a haunt. And the only time I saw something similar was at Reapers, and I think they lost the bet because they were in cow pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, not fully dressed to the nines as, like, radioactive people, or Batman, or the club girls getting out. What was she wearing?
A scarf.
Yeah, she was just wearing a scarf. That was all she was wearing that night. And it was freezing. But it happens every time I'm at Brighton, I see something like that. It's so funny.
That is, I mean, I've seen more team effort costumes than anything. I mean, we've had Ghostbusters. I mean, we had a guy who was I think he had the State Puff Marshmallow Man inflatable. I'm like, how are you gonna go through? I still to this day, I don't know he got through the building somehow. I think he was just fine. He can deflate it or something. But we've seen more funny costumes than scary. I think there was just one Michael Myers roaming around out last year, and he said that it was his favorite haunt he'd been at. And I said, awesome. But I've had men dress as nuns. Like, it's hysterical.
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
It's great. Like, yeah. So I'm surprised to hear that it's only us.
Yeah, dude, I don't see it anywhere else.
Mm-mm.
Nowhere. I wonder if other places don't allow it, but it's good entertainment for us. So.
Yeah, I like.
No, we don't say it.
We don't say it.
But what's also good is it it doesn't take away from the queue line actors, and I wonder if that's what's scared. I mean, our queue line actors are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Make up to their talent. Like, I'm so proud of all of them. But and they're not fazed by it. either. So I wonder if other haunts like don't want that happening. But I'm not really sure why it would be just us. I would have to guess that New York City's right there.
That's my
That
guess.
That's my guess.
yeah, that has to be it.
All right, so you're exactly 1 hour before the haunt opens for opening night, like September 28th, maybe the
Oh,
21st.
okay.
What are you doing?
Depends on the time. What
It's
you mean
6 o'clock.
1 hour
Yeah.
exactly? Okay. What am I doing? I'm making sure that everyone is there. Everyone is in the costume that they're supposed to be in. And that the makeup line is running efficiently. And that we are nothing's broken. And which is something I usually do hours beforehand, but I double check it. I'm really making sure that everyone is there. That is the number one thing. People's cars break down, people get sick, it happens. But there are certain spots that if they are not filled, it's a real problem. So I have to really make sure that that's done. But as far as opening night, we usually don't run into those things too badly because people are really trying to make a good first impression, and they're really, they're not worn out by being put through the machine. We haven't got to Hell Week of October yet.
Yeah.
So I'm really just making sure everyone is there, ready, and that everyone's makeup is done. And as long as that's good, and we're not having any issues other than that, that's really what I'm doing. And then every night I just make sure that the people outside are online, and once they're online, I want to open as soon as possible, because sometimes people don't, that for that first time slot, they don't really show up for that first time slot when it's really early in the season. Like sometimes we'll get like an extra time, like no one's outside, so okay. But we want to start on time every night, because it's better, because you could be in bed at 1 in the morning, you can be in bed at 2 in the morning. It makes a huge difference
Yeah.
starting on you know so yeah, it's really really just that for the most part.
Yeah. PSA for all you new fans out there trying to get to the haunts: go to them early in the season and get that first time slot. Very less
Always
waiting.
early. Every time.
Yep. That's what our goal is, to get there when the gates open. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get the farther into October, the busier it gets.
Yep.
So I mean, you want to have that. I tell people, even friends of mine, I say, if you're gonna get there at a certain time, get there like an hour early. It's better to be standing around waiting than to be waiting hours. We have people waiting hours to get in.
Yep.
But
And buy that VIP ticket.
Yes.
absolutely.
All right. Are you heading to East Coast Haunters Convention?
I am. I will be there. I don't know how many days I'm going, but I'm excited because I was at Trans World last year and I had a blast. I know what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's killing me every time I pick up my phone. I'm like, damn it.
Have you been?
Not yet. Next year I'm hoping, because I think
It's
next year it'll play out better.
Well, we went last year and it was ice cold.
Yeah.
So I was happy it was right across the street, but it's a lot to take in. So I'm very excited to see the new one, because it's open to the public.
Yeah.
So, everyone I know in the haunt community is talking about it. So, yeah, I'll definitely be there, but I think I'm just going to go for the day. Because it's more than enough time to see everything if you've been to Transworld. But if you haven't been to Transworld or anything, I'd say take a day or two, because you're gonna like walk around 8 times and be like, I still don't think I found everything here.
Yeah, we already know we're going both days, and
Yeah.
I'll rock the wheelchair if I have to. I'll be my own gimbal.
Yeah. Well, I have a few friends vending there. I know a lot of people are going, so it's closer by. I mean, St. Louis is halfway across the country for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of a pain to get to, but I mean, I'm very excited to see what they got and to see if anyone who was not a Transworld was there. Because when we went to St. Louis last year, they were supposed to be renovating the convention hall. And I don't think they ever did. So Rich was like, yeah, usually it's warmer. I was like, so we're freezing our ass off for fucking nothing. But we had a blast. So if you guys go, definitely take your time. And if you're in the wheelchair, you'll have even more time to soak stuff
I
in.
won't be in for next year, but I probably will be in for East Coast, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I've been around Oaks a ton of times, and it's very wheelchair accessible. So I'll just be
Yeah, I think almost all places are now.
yeah.
I haven't been to a con in a very long time, so I'm very much looking forward to this. I know a lot of people are very excited
Yeah,
about it.
it's turning out that it's gonna be much bigger than expected. I hope they're ready for that.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah, everybody
excited.
we talk to is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I know one person who isn't, and I have a lot of friends who work at Penhurst and Reapers who are all going, and we're all very excited. So.
I'm gonna have no voice by the time I'm done there. Talking too damn much. All right. What is your favorite part about being GM at such an outstanding haunt?
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I'm very lucky that I get to do this, but um, favorite part. The best part is about the entire thing is when a night goes well. When people who are brand new are having a blast and they're making friends and they're experiencing it, it reminds me of when I first started. And that's the entire reason I do what I do. Um, so between that and seeing them be happy, it's worth working 16-hour days for it. Because I've done it a long time and it's just an amazing place to make friends and have great experiences. And that's what we say when we hire people. We're like, come, don't, you're gonna get paid, but don't you do it for the experience. You do it to make lifelong friends and just have a blast. And when I see people get that, that makes me really happy, and that's my favorite part. I would have to say equal to when I'm scheduling the actors to make sure that they are in the best position for them, meaning they have a look and a talent that would match a character that matches a room. And when I do that for every room in the building, that's how optimizing a haunt works. And when that plays off well, and people like yourselves and others come through, people who travel from outside the country, people who come from Canada say that that was awesome. It's very rewarding. I mean, you're taking a big hand in creating something.
Yeah.
I mean, that is huge. I mean, everyone has to take credit. Like we can't do it with just one person. I mean, between makeup, the actors who work their ass off, Rich, myself, but when you're responsible for making sure that the actors are there and that they're doing the right thing for the haunt, that's very rewarding when it works out because if I put people in a spot that doesn't work, we look like shit.
Right.
I mean, we've had managers in the past that just didn't know what they were doing. And it's clear at other haunts. It's like you can't, there's just little things that you have to really think about. And then you learn this person's acting style and you understand this person, what they can and can't do. And when you kind of play that, when you organize it all in your head and you know the rooms and you know what works, that's how you assemble a haunt that has the best actor in the best spot for the entire building. And when that works out and Rich is happy and the customer, I feel fantastic. I mean, that's the most rewarding part, combining with what makes people happy. I love when what works best for the haunt is also working best for what people would like to do. But sometimes these guys got to be team players because the haunt comes first,
Yeah.
period. Always. We are here to make sure that this haunt is awesome for the customers. That's it. And that's the job. And that those two things are what's pretty awesome. And and I really am very, very fortunate to be doing this. So, and I saw the opportunity for it, and I wouldn't want to do it if I wasn't any good at it. So, I told Rich, like, if I'm not good at it, don't let me do it. And he called me after the first season, and he was like, "You did fantastic. Keep doing it." I was like, "Okay." So, and I said, because when you act for years, you understand how it works, and you just have like an inner thing about how things work, and the fact that I jumped for something and it worked out the way it did is fantastic. So I'd say between those two things. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
All right.
You want me to ask it?
So I'll start off.
Okay.
Brighton Asylum has 3 amazing attractions.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, I would have to say, I love the Asylum part the best. That's my personal favorite. Um, that being said, every few years something looks completely different.
Oh,
So what
yeah.
my favorite is now might not matter.
Right.
So I would have to say just because for nostalgia and just because I don't know, just my personal preference, I think the Asylum part's the coolest.
Yeah.
Um, there's so many cool rooms in every area though. That's the thing. So if you're gonna put a gun to my head, I'd choose the Asylum.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's always been my favorite, and my second really close one is the upstairs. The court.
Sub.
What?
Oh. Up. Oh,
Bleeding
on the
Grounds.
Bleeding
bleeding
grounds.
grounds.
I had quarters in my head for some reason, but I knew it was
The
bleeding
bleeding
grounds.
Well,
grounds.
what's funny is that the first year I took on the GM position, I had an idea of what I was in for, and he built that upstairs the year I started. So I had another like God knows how many square feet to figure out. I was like, all right, cool. So that was the first that yeah. So I love the upstairs though. You've got some really cool scenes up there.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what he finished in a year. I was shocked when I went through it. I was like, come on,
Yeah.
man.
Nevermore does fantastic work, and they get it done just in time for us. And yeah, every time Rich says, "Hey, I'm doing this new thing," I don't even talk about it because I butcher it, even if I'm supposed to say something, because I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna look like this," and then I'm just like, "Why did I say anything?" Like describing this thing is stupid. So
Yeah, I never bother with what he's doing. I just go to look.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing. It's like every actor usually agrees to like it's just they're like, don't tell me whether I don't either way, but I'm like, it's better to just be surprised because I brought some of our actors in on the off season. They didn't see our new edition yet. I don't were you guys there this past
Yep.
October? Okay, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So you saw the new edition and
Oh yeah.
so I'm like, okay, that's better than trying to describe anything we're trying to do. So
Yeah, it was I think I walked in and was like, damn.
oh yeah. It's a lot of fun. So,
Still my favorite scene in that whole haunt is the end of Subculture.
yeah, me too. I love
It's
that too.
it's so badass.
I've had so many ideas for what we could do in there, and I'm trying to make it work. But yeah, I mean that's I have friends coming for this event that haven't been there in like 3 years. They have no idea
Oh
what to
yeah.
look
I
for.
won't say
So
anything then. We'll talk after
no,
we
no, no,
record.
no. It's very, 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 very cool, and
I'll
we're
leave
gonna be
that.
adding some new stuff coming up. So
Yeah, like
I can't wait.
huh?
I said I can't wait.
Yep.
And we come every
yep,
year.
this fall you'll see some new stuff. It'll be cool.
He's nuts. What is your favorite part and least favorite part about the haunt industry?
Well, my favorite part is just that people do it because they want to. I mean, there's this community of people that just love horror movies and Halloween. And when I was a kid, like I didn't really know a lot of people who were into this, and I was like, no one's really into this shit. And boy, was I wrong. But I think it's just when you have a community of people who love something as much as you do, and you don't even need to like talk about that. You just get it. And that's why we're doing it. And we just all love doing we love all these movies. We love, everything from slashers to Halloween to Universal monsters and we try to incorporate that and that helps with, getting to know people. It's just a fun industry to be in.
Yep.
As far as not liking part of it, um that's actually a very good question. I mean, I think all my negative experiences would not be exclusive to the haunt industry. It would be in just about any other job, but I am working with actors. So
Say no more.
I would
Understood.
I would put it that way. Some most people are wonderful, but other people are actors and a little taxing. So
Actors.
yeah, no, I mean, honestly, the worst part about my job actually is when certain actors are just or don't work out for one reason or another, and we're like, damn, they were great, and sometimes it's understandable, and sometimes it's a little unfortunate, whether it's behavior or something else linked to that, but because life's stressful enough. And if you're going to work at a haunt, you should do it because you like it. You should do it have fun. And if you got to go, just go. I just, I have zero tolerance for stupid drama. So I would say that would probably be the worst. And with any acting industry, whether it's Broadway or Hollywood, it's going to happen. It just attracts it. But we have a lot of great people who really don't cause those problems. Because I get rid of the ones who do. I just don't need it. Everybody should be treated with respect and kindness. And things get hectic and people, bite a little bit, but there's a difference between that and you thinking you can do whatever you want. So the few times I've had to do that, I was happy to do it because I'm not going to let it screw it up for other people. So that would probably be the worst part of my job. But um, you know, taking out the trash takes like 10 minutes, but it's a headache and a half.
Yep.
So it's offset by the fact that, I want to keep the good ones. And I want to make sure that anyone who works with us, just like anywhere else, is a responsible person. And that would probably be the worst part about the haunt industry. But again, you're going to get that anywhere you work.
Yeah,
There's going to be
Right.
people
There's
who are
problems
good,
whether
bad.
you're retail or
Oh, forget it.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not exclusive to haunting, but I have a bit of control on that filter. And I don't ask a lot. I really just ask you to show up, do your job, be polite, and leave. You're here with us for 5-6 hours tops. So,
Oh,
so
there you
yeah,
go.
so that would be the worst part.
All right, so we'll take a quick break from the haunts. Do you have
Sure.
any favorite go-to horror movies that you just watch when it's raining, you're feeling comfy, like a comfortable horror movie? What's your go-to?
I'm so like I'm so emotionally unstable when it comes to picking movies. I don't know what the fuck I want to watch. I would say Friday.
Me
Well, it
too.
depends on the time of year, really. I mean, like I could watch Friday the 13th like series anytime. Like I'll throw on Jason Lives in the summertime or in a Halloween time. It's perfect
You picked the
because
best one. Yeah.
it's technically summer. So and you don't have to pay too much attention. They're just slasher time. It's not like, Silence of the Lambs where you like kind of really want to pay attention to this scene and that scene. So, you know, um, go-tos, pretty much anything casual. Like, some of my favorites are like, Nightmare 3 and Jason Lives, again, Silence of the Lambs, but yeah, I mean, see, I'm doing it right now. I can't choose. I don't know what to watch right now, and I'm not going to watch anything. So, so anything where I don't have to think too much. But like I said,
That's awesome. All
yeah,
right, big question time.
Sure.
Oh boy. Freddy or Jason?
Freddie.
There we go.
Everybody's picking Freddy.
Man. He's like- All right, so do you have any bucket list haunts you would like to get to? Because I know you can go to so many other haunts
Right.
during your job.
Yeah. I can just yeah. I never get to, which sucks. But yeah. So I went to Reapers in 2019. It's fantastic. I would have to say the only place I really want to go to, just because it's talked about so much, is Netherworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Horror Nights multiple times, been to Reapers. There are certain haunts I never want to go back to, but I would have to
We'll
just say
talk about that after we end because I want to remember
Yeah,
that
no
you
problem.
said that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you some tea after we end. So, no, I would say Netherworld, just because I have friends who are so brutally honest, but they're right, and between them and the people who are not picky, they just go, Netherworld's fantastic. So, I think that's Atlanta, right?
It's just outside of Atlanta. It's Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Yeah. So I've yet to see something that talked about like that. So I would have to say Netherworld, because out of convenience, I think I've gone everywhere else. My friend, he goes to all these places, and I can't keep track of where he tells me to go and not go. I was like, it's this, it's that, there's 10 different haunts with terror in the name. I can't remember this shit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to Netherworld and call it a bucket.
Call it a bucket list. I love it. Um, What do you think the new thing for 2024 for the industry is going to be? Any new themes you see breaking out? Any new whatever?
I don't. That would be I maybe there's something that I'm gonna think of like driving tomorrow and go, shit, I should have said it. I don't really see anything on the horizon. I would have never guessed escape rooms would be as popular as they are.
And they're still big. I really thought that would phase out. I really did. But they're
Yeah, we have like five of them at Brighton. I think more, and then some outside. They're massive.
yeah.
They're massively popular. I think we're getting some new ones, pretty sure. But that would have been my answer had I predicted it. But I've seen more things phase out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we used to do a clown event and we don't do it anymore. Just we didn't really make any money off of it, but the staff wants to do it, and I'm like, you don't understand. I get it, but we're not doing it because people who are scared of clowns do not fuck around. There's no gray area. They won't go near clowns. It's it. It's over. So you got to sneak them in the haunt somehow and just pretend like you got a normal haunt. But I don't really know of anything that I can see on the way. I mean, it just seems like I hear so much about like activity things like escape rooms and what's this stop the bomb kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You've seen it like as far as horror, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
See,
Rich might know.
my guess, and I'm going to agree with John, the Haunt Informer here. I think old school Halloween's making a comeback, like
What do you mean?
the pumpkins and jack o'
Oh,
lantern scenes, and like the old '80s masks, but done in the like haunt makeup or haunt costumes. I see that coming very shortly.
like that Halloween Town kind of vibe.
Yeah,
I think that would be fantastic. One of the coolest things I've ever seen. 2018, I went to Horror Nights, and I don't know. Have you been to Horror
yeah.
Nights? Were you there that year?
Well, year before actually.
They had that one of their scare zones was like this purple light, like lit kind of forest, and there were carved pumpkins in every
They
tree.
had that the year we were there. It was awesome.
Okay,
Yeah, we
that
did.
was that was like it felt like smoking a joint without smoking a joint. I was like, whoa. Like and a friend of mine had told me that I don't know if this is true or not, but they gave um a bunch of employees a pumpkin so that none of them would all be the same
Ah,
to carve. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, I just thought that was really captivating in that way, like that. Um, like you're saying, like that old school kind of Halloween Town, like Season of the Witch kind of vibe.
yeah, that kind of mess, that kind of stuff, that thing's going
So
on.
you're
Yeah.
saying that blended with some kind of like dark horror, or
Oh
just
no,
straight?
just fall, like fall, fall rooms, not clown
Yeah,
rooms, but like because we've seen a ton of new pumpkin scenes.
Yes.
really?
Yeah. My favorite one is Reapers by far.
Okay.
Because it's just a section on the hayride, but it's all pumpkins.
Their
Oh,
hayride is
pumpkins.
fantastic.
It's beyond words. I'll never miss a year on that hayride. Never. I just
Yeah,
can't. Like it becomes like the highlight of like our year is that Reapers video. And
really.
yeah. Then who else had a oh, Haunted Overload
I
has
was
an
gonna guess them.
amazing
Yeah.
Yep.
pumpkins. They carved 200. And at the beginning of the season, and when they start rotting, they carve more for the
They're all hand built anyway.
yeah
They're
for
all that I've seen pictures. I'm so impressed by that.
for the
The haunt tour.
the legendary haunt tour. They did 500.
Holy shit.
Could you imagine carving 500 fucking pumpkins?
I can. I don't want to.
Because I know they did the regular 100 or 200 by knife. I'm like,
Okay.
please tell me you guys got a Dremel for the 500 because
Yeah.
you're nuts.
That's
But knowing Eric, they probably did it. They probably did knives.
well, that's got to be a big photo op thing too. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
we've got pumpkins outside, like the rotting ones. People love that as like I am stopped constantly. Like, will you take a picture of us? Will you take a picture of us? I'm like, sure. Like yeah, and like I do it, and like I have to get out of there because people love the photo ops,
Yeah.
Scooby, of course. But the pumpkin things, every other haunt I go to, that's what I notice. People are standing by the big
Yep.
old like pump, whether they're Halloween style or they're rotting from the inside out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that could be a thing. I mean, they're um, I see a lot of haunts try to do that kind of Salem
Yeah.
vibe of things, which is I don't know that that would work for us, but who knows?
No, I don't think so. You guys are,
We've got our own thing going
yeah,
on.
it's different. I love it
No,
because you can't really put a pumpkin room in an asylum. You know what I
no,
mean?
No.
no. I mean, we could, but
It's small.
no, I don't think so. No,
No.
I mean that is something that I think is very cool. I've never been to Salem. I don't know if there's a haunt up there, but people have told me not to go in October because it's just jam packed with
All right.
people. It's too much.
So I finally took her to Salem.
Okay.
We did it on the way to Haunted Overload.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, it's on the way. We're going. I stayed outside of Salem. We got there at 8 a.m. to find parking. This was middle
Yeah.
October, maybe even towards the end of October.
It was towards the end of October.
like 20th.
Hmm.
Okay,
Sure.
so it was like the 20th. Got there at 8, found parking. We got
Mhm.
breakfast early, but I'm telling you, man, at 10 o'clock, you're not eating, you're not parking, you're not peeing. There's just people everywhere. And there's
Think of like Black Friday back in the day, where people
Yeah.
were lined up around the building waiting to get in Walmart.
Before Cyber Monday, before the internet.
Yes,
yeah.
that's
True.
how it was. And I loved every second of it.
Oh, you loved every second.
Every second of it.
it
Well,
was
good.
it was
Good.
it was cool for going one time in October. I'll never go back in October.
Yeah.
Maybe September we'll head back.
Or I don't care. I would go back in the spring.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
town, but really it's only 2 streets. So
Yeah.
you're fighting through all that for 2 streets.
Yeah.
And the haunt scene over there? No. There's
No.
a definite market for that. They have
Yeah.
2 very tiny ones, like 3-minute walkthroughs,
No shit.
with maybe a half an actor in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't, my goal wouldn't be to see a haunt. Like, Joe Coma, who you interviewed,
Yeah.
he was the one who he used to go up there every October, and he told me, he goes, it always feels like fall up there. He goes, go in September or November. Like you can go
Mhm.
anytime. And it's just the difference is it's jam packed with people. So he's the one who said, no, don't do that. So I'm not gonna. And I just heard that reinforced. So
Yeah.
I like, if I'm gonna go anywhere and do anything, I don't want to feel like no one's there, but I don't want to feel like I'm in a nightclub on a Saturday.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
November is your choice.
If
No,
it
don't do
was
that.
like a party of 2, we didn't have a hard time finding food.
We also ate at like 9 a.m. every time.
No, when I'm talking about lunch and
Uh,
dinner. But if you had 4 or 5 people, you're waiting 5, 6, 7 hours to eat.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's just like it's no different than going down the shore in summer. I mean, it's you want to get breakfast early, stand in line.
Yeah, I grew up in Atlantic City. All these people came down. It was insanity.
shoe
I
business.
couldn't, dude. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I couldn't park my car when I was done work during the summer.
Every year I go down the shore, whether it's Wildwood or whatnot. I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna go to Wawa because I got excited to go out to eat, but like I don't want to wait 30 minutes in the blazing sun at night. Like I'm sorry, it's just not worth it. I'll skip to lunch. So that's got to be what it's like for them up there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to go really to a haunt. I would want to see that other side that you're talking about, the historical, like the voodoo or Salem witch trials, all that kind of stuff. Like that would be really, really cool to see.
Yeah, that was
Maybe
cool.
that'll be the new thing. Historic representations of things,
And from the videos I've seen from Transworld, I'm seeing a big, like monks almost, like evil monks, like
Yeah.
evil Satan worshippers and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot of those static props. So
Really?
I'm wondering if that's becoming something new. And I saw 2 giant ones in a haunt we were at. They were 20 feet tall.
Really? I mean, we've had some, and I've seen that almost like something along those lines, whether it's like, you know, s- demon worshippers or however you want to put
Or
it.
like
Everyone seems
cult
to have their
people.
own version of it,
Yeah.
which is very cool.
Hmm.
But that's actually something that a lot of like my actors who are uh some of the toughest, they're nervous to go through certain rooms like that are religious based because then they start to get like really standoffish. Me, it doesn't bother me, but like, we have that one room upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, yeah, I won't go in there. I was like, you serious? He goes, yeah, yeah, no, I don't do that. I was like, okay,
And
sure.
the room before it's kind of even worse for that kind of thing if you think about it.
The
Before you
ballroom?
make the left.
I'm talking upstairs.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. I got lost. Yeah.
It's okay. I didn't even need to know the name to know where you were.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, I love that kind of stuff. A lot of that, a lot of the stuff at Transworld is very, very cool looking. But one of the problems in running a haunt is, for example, you look at the silicone masks they make now are incredible. No one wants to wear them.
No, they're hot as shit.
I mean, I'll do it. I've done it. I have certain people who can handle it, and that's fine. Not everyone's an athlete, but they, I just, I'm not in the profession of making them, but I go, how is it that they can't make this a little lighter?
Right.
Like it doesn't have to be like, World War II helmet. Like, you know, some of them are comfortable and most of them are not.
Yeah.
And there's one company that I talked to the guy, and I forget what the name is, but he actually made some light ones. I said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Because I would love to put so many of the actors in silicone masks. And every year I get some people who love doing it. And I'm like, well, my day just got 10 times easier. Because I'm like, I have this main character in this front room upstairs, like with the top hat that we bought at Transworld, and Transworld had a mannequin with a silicone mask on it. It's like, that's cool. How many, hours is it going to take to do that makeup? And then I get someone who can handle it. I'm like, awesome. But not everyone can.
Yeah.
But so they put all this, they make all these amazing masks, and I'm going, I hope that whatever the luck of the draw is, that you get people can handle it, because you can't really control, what type of people you're getting. You just cast and hire. Not, and it's not like nobody does, but like you're going to get maybe about like 5% of your staff is going to be able to do it.
Right.
And even if they're not, it's not even the heat, it's they're heavy or
Mm-hmm.
they're too tight. Different people are built differently, their face, everything. And it's not all these masks are done the same. And so, I just feel like you have to find the right people to wear them. So if you buy them, just be aware that you can't just put it on someone like a glove. It's not going to work. So, but yeah, it's I love wearing them. They don't bother me. That's I never mind them. The only we have one that's very, very cool. It was a blend in. It was in the room upstairs, the circular one, if you know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
with the knights. So we had one guy who was able to wear that, and he killed it. And I was so happy because that was a mask that was very narrow on the inside. But luckily, this gentleman was built like a mannequin, so it worked. And that's another thing we look for. We kind of go, to get back into the haunt business, like you want to look for certain demographics of people because they can handle certain things.
Right.
I see if I read an application and someone said I did football in high school and I did this, okay, I have someone with stamina now. Perfect. I need like 5 more. They don't know what we're looking for and why. And people who are thin, people who I have a kid who does death metal vocals just on his spare time. I'm like, well, he's not going to lose his voice anytime soon. Terrific.
Yeah.
So, it's those little outside things that you wouldn't think are necessary, but you compare that with a silicone mask, you get a great scare.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's my favorite thing about the haunt industry is these guys are metal bands. They're electricians. They're lawyers. There's mechanical engineers. All
Yep.
come together just to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah. Some of them make the props.
Yeah.
Some of them just do it on the spare time. I mean, I get people who are into this business and it's obvious. But then I get people who look like they work at the Gap and you're like, there's no way they're into this, and they are. you know. And it's just something fun. But yeah, I mean, you most of the people who work with us, you would never think on the outside that they would be into this kind of thing. And
Right.
but that's the cool thing about it. You never know who likes what. But
Yeah, exactly.
mm-hmm.
So, what does the audition process look like? Do you like film everyone to remember later? Do you make them do like 3 lines? What's the
Well,
idea?
what usually happens is Rich will do most of the work as far as hiring and advertising for hiring. At a certain point in time, around late August, we'll start planning to do more interviews. I'll come in, help him with interviews, and we will have a few weekends set aside, one for reapplications because it is contract work. So people re-sign up and redo the paperwork, and we usually separate that veterans from new hires. So we get everyone who's knows how it works out of the way, and then we have all the new people come in. And then once all that's done, we have a thing called Ghoul School, where we bring in everyone together and we train everyone for everything that they need to know. My lead actor trainer, Steven, he's fantastic. He's been a friend of mine a long time ago. For a long time, he really has a very, very intricate way of explaining to people, whether you know a little bit or a lot or nothing at all, about how acting works, how you build a character, and what to do and what not to do. So we go over the basics. I turn it over to him, and he does like a little boot camp with everybody. He does a fantastic job, and he really gets them all set. He'll come over to me. We'll group. We'll see who needs work, who's ahead of the game. But regardless, everybody starts at a different line. But we're there to help everybody. If you suck, we want to make you great. If you're good, we want to make you great. If you do okay, we want to get you to where you need to go. We always want to make sure that if you're there and you're willing to try, that we're going to do everything we can to make you stand out. No one should feel like I suck at this and quit.
Awesome.
So we try to be really positive about it. And some people need a lot of work. I mean, it's not what you think. So as far as auditioning, it's really the schooling that we have. I think we do like 2 days and two separate weekends. Usually it has to be a weekend, people work. So, but Steven really does a fantastic job. And then we just regroup and we will bring them in the building and throw them to the wolves and see how they do and really make it challenging. And that's kind of clunky and hard for them to do. But if they can do good with the lights on, no costume, no makeup, imagine what you can do when you're in that zone.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what every actor who's brand new doesn't understand, and then at the end of it, they're like, "Oh, I get it." I say, "You're doing fine." They're like always self-conscious, like I'm like, "Listen, don't use your brain, use mine. That's why you're here." When those lights go off and you're in costume, you are going to mentally transform. I promise you. And they do, and they get it. And then and I'm like, no one's gonna, why would I expect you to be like an Oscar winner? You're in normal clothing, the lights on, we got no sound effects going on. You look like a YouTube prank. So we're judging you in the worst, case scenario, and people do just fine for the most part.
Yeah.
So that, and I tell them, come to me with any questions, and believe me, they do. So yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have any other questions, my Nurse Ratchet?
No.
She's been my Nurse Ratchet for the last week.
Oh, really? Giving them a hard time?
No, she did laugh at me earlier, though. That was kind of messed
Oh, yeah.
up.
That was.
Oh, no.
Call my congressman.
He was in the wheelchair and he tried to wash his hands at the sink and he couldn't get to the water. So he was like,
With misery.
Yeah, I know. I called her Kathy Bates for the first half of this. Now she's Nurse Ratchet. I got to come up with another one. Well, it was funny because, she meets me at Philadelphia Airport. I'm all screwed up. The dude's pushing my wheelchair. We're getting in the elevator and she rams my luggage into my leg. I'm like, really? What the fuck?
I'm
Yeah,
like,
just
did
don't
I
do that with
just
my
hit you?
wheelchair, okay?
I'm like, did I just hit you?
Oh, I do have another question. So
Sure.
Brighton has really become like a place people can guest act at. Do you guys look that out, or do they find you? How's that all happen?
They found me. I mean, it's I had a Paul from Reapers who acted with us years ago, and him and I became friends. And you know, they a lot of haunts don't do off seasons, so they're like, "Can we come with you?" And he brings me a bunch of people, and yeah, they do. I don't mind it at all. They're fantastic. So they really find me, but it's really like these guys, you know, their October seasons end, and that's it.
Yeah.
They would love to do, they live for it, and they're awesome. So they hit me up, and Paul's like, I got more people who want to come down. I was like, if they're cool people and they can act, bring them on board. So yeah,
Yeah.
they reach out to me, and it's growing.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely it's something because a lot of the people I've interviewed have done it. So like I keep following like who goes to Brighton to guest act. It's funny.
oh yeah. Well, it's fun because you know people are for October, they're loyal to one haunt for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but you know, if you're not open, bounce around. Who cares?
You got to
You
get
know?
that bug out. You do. It's just because it eats away inside of you. It's kill. Like I was trying to at least get to Field of Screams for the
Yeah.
midway in the
Yeah.
wheelchair, but now that I'm getting operated on Monday, probably not happening.
Yeah.
So now I'm dying inside, but I'm still sending Terry.
Well, that's the thing. Like people, they really, really like it, and to me, I say, you know, summer is that break for me to crave it again.
Yeah,
You know, so especially in my position, but as far as actors, I mean, they love it, and then you know, winter time here sucks, so you know, they really use it as much as possible. I mean, they drive 2 hours just to work a 2 hour night with us, and they're fantastic. So they uh a lot of haunts seem to be doing Christmas. But I don't know how, I don't really keep track of who does what. But yeah, I'll welcome anybody who wants to guest act on the off season. Yeah, it's no problem at all.
all
Yeah.
right. Do you have any other questions? You
No.
couldn't come up with another one? What do you do here? Nah, I'm just kidding. Connor, thank you so much for taking the time. This was a
No
great
problem.
interview. I had a
Yeah.
blast. Make
Same.
sure you guys buy your tickets now for St. Patrick's Sleigh going on at Brighton Asylum Saturday the 16th, correct?
Correct.
7 to 9, right?
I believe so. Yeah. The tickets are on the website, and there's also escape rooms. So
Yeah, a Christmas Story escape room, which I was trying to get to, but it's going to have to wait.
yeah, yeah, definitely gonna need to stand and bend and yeah, not be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, so we're going to wait till I'm healthy for that.
Right. Yeah, so take your time. Yeah, absolutely. This was fantastic. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, don't hang up because I want to shit talk after
Ah,
we're done. All
oh yeah.
right, guys. Connor, Brighton Asylum, get your tickets now at brightonasylum.com. Got anything else to say to these
Nope.
people? Terry will be Field of Screams.
I will be.
Make sure you harass her, bother the hell out of her. I got hell for you coming.
I'm
You know
sure
how many
you
people I know
do.
at Field of Screams? You're screwed. All right, guys. But this has been Halloween Haunts 365, where every day is haunt season. We'll see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Night after night, will we survive? Night after night, are we dead in this cold? Oh, everything's numb, everything breaks, everything will die here in this cold.
Halloween Haunts 365 Productions.